The quality of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Train your mind to focus on what matters. 4, everything begins inside your head before it ever shows up in your reality. If you want to change your circumstances, you first have to change the way you think about them. Most people spend their entire lives letting random thoughts run through their minds like untrained animals. 4, and then they wonder why their results are inconsistent, why their confidence is shaky, and why they keep repeating the same mistakes. The truth is, your mind is the most valuable real estate you'll ever own. And if you don't control what lives there, weeds of negativity will take over. Before, every successful person you admire, every entrepreneur, leader, or athlete who has achieved something extraordinary has learned to discipline their thinking. Before, they understand that thoughts create beliefs, beliefs create actions, and actions create results. If your thoughts are small, your results will be small. Or if your thoughts are scattered, your results will be scattered. But if you can discipline your mind to focus on growth, solutions, and opportunities, or you create a pattern of thinking that leads you toward progress instead of pulling you back into problems. The challenge is, we live in a world that constantly fights for your attention. Social media, news, opinions, and distractions are all designed to hijack your focus. If you let them, your mind will be consumed by fear, doubt, and comparison. You'll wake up every day reacting to noise instead of creating your own direction. That's why mental discipline is not optional if you want to live a life on your terms. You have to deliberately choose what you feed your mind. Just like your body becomes what you eat, your mind becomes what you consume. If you're always consuming negativity, gossip, or pointless entertainment, don't be surprised when your outlook becomes negative, your energy becomes drained, and your ambition disappears. Training your mind is like training a muscle. It doesn't get stronger by accident, it gets stronger by consistent effort. Every time you choose to focus on what matters instead of what distracts you, you are building mental strength. Every time you replace a thought of doubt with a thought of possibility, you are rewiring your brain to expect success. And the more you repeat this, the more automatic it becomes. Eventually, positivity stops feeling like effort and starts becoming your default. That's when you know your mind is working for you, not against you. A strong mind is not one that ignores reality. It's one that faces reality with clarity and resilience. Life will throw challenges at you. There will be setbacks, failures, and moments that test your patience. But when your thoughts are disciplined, you don't break under pressure, you bend and adjust. You see obstacles as opportunities to learn rather than excuses to quit. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what can I do about it? That shift in thinking alone is enough to change the trajectory of your life. 4, focus is the ultimate advantage in a distracted world. Most people never accomplish their goals, not because they aren't smart enough or talented enough but because they can't stay focused long enough to finish what they started. If you want a better life, train your mind to cut out the noise. Decide what matters to you. Your health, your business, your family, your purpose, and then direct your thoughts toward those things with consistency. Don't waste mental energy on things you can't control. Don't waste mental space on people who don't add value. 4, protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. At the end of the day, your life is nothing more than a reflection of the thoughts you choose to hold on to. If you think like a victim, you'll live like one. If you think like a builder, you'll build. And the good news is you get to choose every single day what thoughts stay and what thoughts go. The quality of your life will rise or fall to the level of your thinking. So the greatest investment you can ever make is to train your mind to focus on what matters. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Train your mind to focus on what matters. Most people underestimate how much their inner dialogue dictates their outer reality. You don't see the world as it is, you see the world through the lens of how you think. If your thoughts are negative, scattered, and full of doubt, then no matter how much opportunity is around you, you'll only see obstacles. On the other hand, if your thoughts are disciplined, focused, and solution-driven, then even in chaos, you'll find a way forward. The battlefield of success isn't the marketplace, it's the 6 inches between your ears. Think about this. Your mind is like a garden. If you plant weeds, don't expect flowers to grow. But most people let weeds grow by default. They consume garbage information. 4, surround themselves with toxic people, replay failures on loop, and then wonder why life feels heavy. The truth is, the brain is programmable. 4, you're either programming it intentionally or you're letting the environment program it for you. Every thought you allow shapes your beliefs, and your beliefs shape your behavior, and your behavior shapes your results. That's the chain reaction. So if you want to change your results, don't start with your circumstances, start with your thoughts. Focus is a muscle, and just like any muscle, it gets stronger the more you use it. But here's the challenge: most people have trained their minds to be distracted. Social media pings, endless scrolling, jumping from one task to another. These habits wire the brain for chaos. The ability to focus deeply is rare, and because it's rare, it's valuable. If you can train your mind to focus on what matters, you instantly separate yourself from the majority. Imagine what happens if, for 3 years straight you give your undivided attention to building one skill, one business, or one mission. While others are distracted by every shiny object, you're stacking progress. Eventually that discipline compounds, and compounding is the secret weapon of success. But let's get real. Training your mind doesn't mean you never have negative thoughts. It means you don't let those thoughts run the show. It's about learning to observe them, dismiss them, and redirect your attention. For example, instead of thinking, I can't do this, you reframe it as, oh, I don't know how to do this yet, but I can learn. That single shift in thought moves you from powerless to powerful. The difference between winners and quitters is rarely circumstance, it's perspective. Winners see failure as feedback, losers see failure as final. That comes down to mental training. Another key part of training your mind is clarity. You can't focus on what matters if you haven't defined what matters. Most people say they want success, but they can't even describe what success looks like for them. No wonder they wander aimlessly. Clarity creates direction, and direction fuels focus. Once you know what matters, you can cut everything else. Distractions become obvious. Every yes has a cost. And every no protects your focus. The more disciplined you are about what you give your mind to, the higher the quality of your life becomes. Here's the harsh truth: your outer world will never outgrow your inner world. You can't build $1 million business with $100 mindset. You can't lead people if you can't even lead your own thoughts. You can't expect peace if your mind is constantly at war with itself. Your thoughts are either your prison or your passport. The discipline of thought is what separates those who drift from those who dominate. So if you want to change your life, stop chasing hacks and shortcuts. Start with your mind. Train it like an athlete trains their body. Feed it with knowledge, or protect it from negativity. Strengthen it with focus. Direct it toward what matters most, because once your mind is disciplined, the rest of your life falls in line. Your business, your relationships, your health, they all level up when your thoughts level up. The quality of your life is not luck. It's the sum of your thoughts. And when you choose to focus those thoughts on what matters, or you stop being a victim of circumstance and start becoming the architect of your future, emotions are part of being human. They show up every day in every situation, whether we invite them or not. Happiness, frustration, fear, anger, excitement, none of us can switch them off completely. They're signals like notifications from the body and the brain telling us how we interpret the world around us. But here's the problem: most people let those signals become their commands. They wake up tired and tell themselves, I don't feel like working today, so they don't. They get upset with someone and say things they can't take back. They feel discouraged and stop chasing their goals. They let emotions make the decisions instead of discipline. The truth is, emotions are real, but they are not facts. Just because you feel something doesn't mean it's true. And it definitely doesn't mean it deserves to dictate your behavior. Discipline is the ability to take the steering wheel back from your emotions. Discipline is the voice that says, I don't care how you feel, we're doing it anyway. That's why successful people don't look that different from unsuccessful people on the surface. Both get tired. Both feel fear. Both face stress. The difference is that successful people act through their emotions, not under them. Think about it like this. If you only work hard on the days you feel good, you'll never get anywhere. Progress doesn't care about your mood. The gym doesn't care if you're motivated. Your bank account doesn't care if you're tired. The people relying on you don't care if you feel scared. The world keeps moving before, and the opportunity doesn't stop and wait until you're in the mood to take it. Discipline means showing up regardless of what's going on inside. Before, most people live life on emotional autopilot. They react instead of choosing. Someone criticizes them, they snap back. Someone disappoints them, they shut down. For they feel nervous, they quit before starting. That's how potential is wasted. But when you understand that feelings are temporary waves, you learn to ride them instead of being drowned by them. Anger passes, sadness passes, fear passes. But the choices you make while under their influence can have permanent consequences. That's why control matters. Imagine two people running a marathon. One feels tired at mile 10 and quits. The other feels tired at mile 10 but keeps going. The difference isn't that the second runner had no fatigue before. The difference is they didn't let fatigue decide for them. That's the same with building a business, leading a family, or pursuing a dream. Everyone feels resistance, but not everyone obeys it. You don't eliminate emotions, you manage them, you acknowledge them, but you don't let them be the boss. Discipline is reminding yourself of your commitments when your emotions want comfort. Discipline is executing the plan even when your mood screams for an excuse. Discipline is the bridge between what you feel and what you want. And here's the payoff when you consistently act with discipline instead of emotion. You start building trust with yourself. You stop being the person who quits when it's inconvenient and start becoming the person who follows through no matter what. That reputation, first with yourself, then with others, creates momentum. Suddenly, opportunities open up, not because the world got easier, but because you got stronger. At the end of the day, emotions will come and go. They're temporary guests, not permanent residents. But the results of your discipline, the body you build, the business you grow, the life you shape, those stay. Discipline doesn't ignore emotions, or it just refuses to bow down to them. And if you can master that, you'll always move forward, no matter how you feel in the moment. Money is one of the most misunderstood things in the world. Most people treat it like a toy. They spend it as soon as they get it. Before chasing the temporary hit of feeling rich, new shoes, new phone, a night out, gone the next morning, leaving them in the same place they started. That's the game average people play, and it's why they stay average. If you want to be different, you need to treat money like what it really is, a tool. A tool that can buy freedom, security, and opportunity if you know how to use it. The problem isn't that people don't earn enough. The problem is that they don't keep enough. And the reason they don't keep enough is because they don't respect the money they already have. Think about it. If you can't manage 100,000, what makes you think you'll magically be able to manage 100,000? Scale doesn't change discipline. If you waste small before, you'll waste big. That's why the first shift is mental. You need to stop asking, what can this money buy me right now? And start asking, what can this money build for me tomorrow? Spending strategically means being intentional with every dollar. It doesn't mean living cheap or depriving yourself of joy. It means aligning your spending with your priorities. If you're buying things to impress people who don't even care about you, you're not spending strategically, you're bleeding wealth. Strategic spending is investing in tools that make you better, in knowledge that compounds, and in experiences that expand your vision. Every dollar should have a job, and that job should move you closer to freedom. Saving aggressively is another misunderstood principle. Some people think saving means you're scared or stingy, but that's not true. Saving is stacking ammo for future opportunities when the market dips. When a business deal comes, when an investment opens up, cash in hand gives you power. The people who always cry that opportunities are unfair are usually the same ones who never prepared for them. They had money, but they spent it on shiny toys. And when the real chance came, they were empty-handed. Saving aggressively doesn't mean hoarding forever. It means being patient enough to strike when it counts. And then comes the real multiplier, investing for the long game. Here's where most people fail. They want the quick flip, the overnight return, the lottery ticket. That mindset is exactly why they stay broke. Wealth is built slowly, consistently, and intentionally. Compounding is boring to watch, but unstoppable over time. before. If you invest one today, you won't see fireworks tomorrow. But if you keep planting those dollars, watering them, and letting time do its work, before you wake up one day with a forest, that's how wealth really works. The truth is, money is neutral. It doesn't care if you use it to buy a new car or if you use it to buy back decades of your life. It doesn't care if you waste it or if you multiply it. For the difference is discipline. If you treat money like a toy, it will disappear like one. If you treat it like a tool, it will build you the life you actually want. For most people overestimate what money can buy them today and underestimate what it can build for them tomorrow. Don't fall into that trap. Respect every dollar. Before, assign it a purpose and let your patience turn small seeds into massive results. Play the long game and money will stop being your stress, for it will start being your leverage. And leverage, not luck, is what creates lasting freedom. Success is less about talent and more about self-control in the areas that actually move the needle. Before, people often assume that the ones who win big in life were born smarter, luckier, or naturally gifted. But if you pay attention, you'll see that the people who keep winning aren't always the most talented, they're the most disciplined. Talent might get you noticed, but discipline keeps you in the game long enough to actually succeed. It's not about how much you can do, it's about whether you can consistently control yourself in the areas that matter most. Think about it. Talent is flashy, it's exciting, and it gives the illusion of success early on. But the world is full of people who were talented and never made it anywhere. Why? Because they couldn't manage their habits, their choices, or their impulses. Self-control is the great equalizer. The person who knows how to stay focused, stay patient, and keep moving forward will eventually outpace the one who simply started with natural advantages. Talent without self-control is like a car with no steering wheel. It might have horsepower, but it's heading straight for a crash. Self-control is not about denying yourself joy. It's about choosing the bigger win over the temporary pleasure. Controlling your mouth means knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. Most people sabotage their opportunities not because they lack intelligence, but because they can't stop themselves from saying things that don't need to be said. The disciplined person understands that words are seeds, and what you say grows into the results you see. That one skill can make or break relationships, business deals, and reputations. The mind is the battlefield where most success stories are won or lost. Everyone has doubts, fears, and distractions, but not everyone has trained their mind to resist them. Self-control in your thoughts means you don't let every negative idea run wild. It means you direct your focus like a laser toward the things that actually matter. You can have all the talent in the world, but if your mind is scattered and undisciplined, you won't build anything lasting. Mood is another area where self-control separates winners from everyone else. Life is unpredictable and emotions swing like a pendulum. One day you feel unstoppable, the next day you feel like quitting. The difference between the successful and the average is that the successful don't let their moods dictate their actions. They show up whether they feel like it or not. That consistency compounds over time. Talent might let you shine on your best days, but discipline makes sure you're still standing on your worst days. And then there's money. Controlling money is one of the most practical tests of self-control. Anyone can earn, but not everyone knows how to keep and grow it. Without discipline, money slips through your fingers as fast as it comes in. People sabotage their future wealth because they chase short-term status, spending to look successful instead of investing to actually become successful. Self-control with money means understanding that every dollar has a job and that your future freedom depends on what you do with it today. In the end, talent is only the starting point. It's potential, nothing more. What turns potential into reality is discipline, the control you have over your mouth, mind, mood, and money is what builds the foundation for everything else. Success is not about doing extraordinary things once. It's about doing the ordinary things consistently well. That requires control. When you master that, the question stops being whether you will succeed. It becomes only a matter of when. When you master control over your mouth, your mind, your mood, and your money, winning stops being a question of if and becomes only a question of when. Most people spend their lives waiting for luck, waiting for opportunity, waiting for someone else to show them the way. The truth is, luck doesn't show up to people who aren't ready. 4. Opportunity passes by those who don't have control. And no matter how talented you are, if you can't manage yourself, you'll sabotage everything you touch. Or think about your mouth. The words you speak are not harmless. They can open doors or slam them shut. If you constantly gossip, complain, or exaggerate, or people stop trusting you. If you overpromise and underdeliver, your reputation disappears. But when you learn to control your mouth, you gain power. For you stop wasting energy on arguments that don't matter. You stop saying things you'll regret. You use words as tools, not as weapons. 4. And people start to listen when you finally choose to speak. Control your mouth, and suddenly you sound like a leader, not a victim. Now let's look at your mind. For your mind is your greatest asset or your biggest enemy. If you allow fear, doubt, and distraction to take over, your mind will work against you every single day. 4. But when you learn to control it, when you discipline your thoughts and direct them toward what you want, your entire world shifts. Focus is rare in a world of noise. If you can hold your mind on a goal long enough to push through setbacks, you will outlast and outperform everyone who gives up when it gets hard. The mind is where all victories are won before they happen in real life. Then comes your mood. Too many people let emotions dictate their actions. They wake up tired, so they don't execute. They feel angry, so they burn bridges. They get discouraged, so they quit. But successful people feel those same emotions and keep moving anyway. They know moods change like the weather, but discipline is the anchor. You don't need to feel motivated to do the work. You need to do the work so that eventually you feel proud. Control your mood before, and you stop being a slave to circumstance. You show up consistently, and consistency always beats intensity in the long run. And finally, money. 4. Money exposes whether you have control or not. If you can't manage $100, you won't manage $1 million. If you spend to look successful, you'll never be successful. But when you control your money, when you save, invest, and build instead of waste, you give yourself freedom. Before, money doesn't guarantee happiness, but lack of it guarantees stress. And the person who understands how to multiply resources instead of just consume them is the person who creates wealth that lasts. When you put all of this together, your mouth, your mind, your mood, and your money, you become unstoppable. You stop sabotaging yourself with careless words. You stop losing battles in your head before they even begin. You stop letting emotions push you off course. And you stop living paycheck to paycheck because you finally respect your resources. That combination creates momentum. And once momentum is in your favor, success becomes inevitable. So winning isn't a mystery. It isn't luck. It isn't talent alone. Winning is simply the byproduct of control. If you can master these 4 areas, you don't need to ask, will I succeed? The only real question left is, how soon will I get there?